Okay, so that's the situation. Now, two questions that come to mind are how's this going to end? Because we're still living in the middle of it. It hasn't ended yet. And secondly, was this a good thing or a bad thing or irrelevant? How is it going to end? The end, because none of this is logical, it's almost impossible to predict when or everything will reconcile. But at some point, it has to come back to a real price. Okay. Um, it's going to be a real price based on fundamentals. Um, I'll say cash flow projections. Okay, so at some point, whatever that number is, if you believe that 15 before all of this happened per share was the correct number, then it would come back to 15. If you think it was 20 or whatever, then it would come back to that number. But it would not stay at 480 or a higher number. I mean, we could go higher to 1,000 or whatever, but eventually it'll correct, and we don't know when that'll be. Whether it's weeks, months, or year, it's unknown. So, is this a good thing or a bad thing? It's sort of being hailed in the marketplace as a good thing because individuals have now finally been able to take their revenge on Wall Street, and it's the hedge fund managers that are getting hit. There's a component of I guess karma in that, but it's not quite that easy. If you look at who's the winner and who's the loser. Okay, so the winner obviously is going to be anyone who bought it at early. Okay, so buyers who purchased at a low price. Okay, so either before or early on. Okay, during the rise of that stock price. The losers are going to be the hedge funds that shorted. Okay, and unfortunately, there'll be other losers as well, and these will be people who were buyers who bought late. Okay, and arguably held on. So let's suppose you bought it when it was $320 and it goes all the way up to $900, and then eventually it comes right back down to $15. If you held it on, then you're going to lose your money. Now, will this wipe out the hedge fund industry? I don't think so. I mean, maybe 2 years from now, if this video is on and you're watching it, I might be wrong and the hedge fund industry has been completely decimated. But if I was to oversimplify it, I'm going to say the hedge funds right now would fall into three categories related to GameStop and these others, companies that are being run up in the short squeeze. You got three positions. They had no holdings of GameStop. They had a buy position or a long position, or they shorted GameStop. Okay, so who's going to win and who's going to lose? These people obviously will be, well, I'll write it out. These will be positive. These folks will be neutral. And anyone who shorted GameStop is going to be negative. But they're going to be negative on one position. Okay, that's not the only stock they hold. They probably lost money and they moved on. So if you look at this whole industry, is this whole industry being wiped out by GameStop and the other ones, BlackBerry and the other companies that are being impacted by now? No, it's not going to wipe them out. It probably will make a change for them in terms of how they go about shorting in the future. Now that the internet has enough traction, or the boards on the internet have enough traction where um, you can follow these high short positions with low volume stocks. They're probably going to be hesitant to do them in the future because they know this can recur, and it will. So it might change some of their strategies, and a few specific hedge funds might get hit, but the vast majority of them, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, will survive. And I'm not saying that because I'm a big fan of hedge funds. I think their fees are very expensive, and they don't encourage the right type of investing. A lot of them tend to do very high risk investing. So So it's not that they deserve to survive because they're adding value necessarily, but if you just look at the breakdown of how they invest and how they make their money, and the largest part is on their commissions as well. Um, this month in the marketplace is not going to be enough to shift it dramatically for them.